Well, hello, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're watching this from in the world. And first of all, a very warm welcome to a live stream with my two friends from Procurify, who I will introduce in just a second. But before I do, apologies for being a few minutes late starting. That was completely my fault by being stupid enough to not hit the go live button first time round. You would think after I've done about 10 of these that I would have it figured out, but completely forgot to press the go live button at the hour. So thank you for your patience if you are still with us. So a couple of quick housekeeping things. If you have a question to the two ladies from Procurify, Bannon and Kristin, who will be running this demo, then please pop them in the comments in the stream, and then we will handle those at the end of the demo. So please stick around to the end so as we can cover all of your Q&A. The demo itself will last about half an hour in total. So Kristin is going to run through just a couple of slides to introduce Procurify first of all, and then we will hand over to Bannon, who is going to run the demo for you. If you can just pop in the comments where you're dialing in or where you're watching this from, it would be great to see who we've got represented globally, because I did see that it was quite an international audience who clicked to attend. So looking forward to see where everyone's joining us from. With that, I think I will hand over to Procurify. So Kristin, if you want to go first and just quickly introduce yourself, and then we can bring on the slides and give a quick intro to Procurify.
Okay, that sounds great. Yeah, thanks so much for the introduction, James. So my name is Kristin. I'm one of the partner managers here at Procurify, and I'm joined by my colleague Bannon, who's one of our senior solution consultants here. So very excited that you're all able to join us today. And like James said, I'll kick things off by just going through a really quick slide deck to give you a little bit of background on Procurify before handing it off to Bannon, who will go through the demonstration today. So Procurify was founded in 2012. We're headquartered out of Vancouver in Canada. We currently have over 700 customers that are spread across 50 different verticals and also spread across 70 different countries globally. We manage more than $30 billion in spend annually for our customers. And really our goal when developing Procurify was to offer an easy to use spend management platform that really goes beyond purchase orders and expense process controls to really ensure that our customers gain visibility with streamlined workflows, real-time data, and can easily organize, track, and report on spend from a single platform. So companies that are reactively managing spend are basically really just trying to figure out which invoices are okay to pay. The problem with reactively managing spend is that you're approving spend after it's already been committed, often leading to over or underspending. So by bringing more spend essentially under management in a single procure to pay solution, unified spend data can be harnessed to realize millions of dollars in time and cost savings, which organizations can essentially maximize their return on spend. So this is what Procurify actually calls intelligent spend management, so that you can gain unprecedented visibility and control over all your business spend to empower your entire organization to make responsible spend decisions. So managers can quickly see how their decisions impact budget. Finance can better understand cash flow with a real-time view of purchasing, and leadership can make more impactful data-driven decisions. So we do have a very user-friendly platform, which hopefully we'll be able to show you in just a moment, but we are accessible directly from a mobile app or alternatively from any web browser. We do have integrations with a number of different ERP and accounting solutions. So with QuickBooks, Sage Intacct, NetSuite, and Microsoft Dynamics Business Central. And of course, we also have an API for any other integrations. We have a number of case studies on our website that can highlight the return on spend that our customers have realized. So just a couple of examples here on this slide. Anakista was able to save $30,000 in a few weeks. Proudfoot was able to decrease their unapproved vendors by 40%. Sahara achieved a 90% approval process efficiency increase, and Canal Barge saved $2 million and up to 34,000 hours. We've been ranked the #1 purchasing software on G2, and you can really check out all of the unbiased reviews that our customers have left. And at this point, I'd love to hand it off to Bannon to run you through a demonstration of our solution. Oh, Bannon, I think you're muted.
Yep, there we go. All right, so just to get started, this is the Procurify platform. We are a web-based app. We also do have a mobile app. So a lot of the functionality I'm going to show you today, you can do straight from your phone. This is the main dashboard. I'm logged in here as Monica. Monica is an admin level user. Essentially what that means is she has access to everything within the dashboard. Dashboard works sequentially on how we go through the procurement process in Procurify. So everything starts off with a request, goes through an approval process. We then go ahead and purchase those items and also receive them. In the AP module, that's where you complete your three-way match. So making sure you match your purchase orders against your goods received, against your invoices that your vendors have sent you. And then we also do have some baked-in reporting available, and then settings is where you can go in and configure your domain. At the top here, the main dashboard lets me know what requires my attention when I log in. So any orders pending approval, any expenses, any travel requests. Down below, I also have some recent activities. So I get a quick glance of what orders are going through the system and where they are within the system. And then below that, we have our spend tracker. So key differentiator with Procurify, you do have the ability to see real-time budgets within the platform. So you can see how you're doing in your spend at any given time. With the ability to see current spend as well as pending requests. So pending requests letting you know any orders that might come through, letting you know if you might go over budget if you approve all these requests. Lastly, at the top here, we have a recent comment section. This is a in-platform chat functionality, so bringing in all communication around purchasing within the platform. So no going back and forth via email or any other messaging tool. I can click any of these messages, brings me directly to that order, so I know exactly which order this is pertaining to. Switching over from Monica, we're going to switch over to Joey. Joey's a basic level user. So in Procurify, you are able to grant permissions to have users with just the ability to request or anything in between to what Monica had access to. So access to everything. From here, we're going to go in and place a request for an order. First page I want to stop at is the order status screen. This gives me visibility on all of my different orders that are currently out. So again, avoiding that back and forth email of where the status of my order is, I can see if it's still pending approval, if the order has been approved, denied, purchased, or received. And if it's received, where do I go pick it up from? From here, I can go to my order form. At the top, my domain is configured to location and department, but these two can definitely be configured to however the organization is set up, whether that's project-based or location-based or department-based. For this case, we're just going to say we're going to place an order for the marketing team and the date we need this by, let's say the end of the week. I can include any sort of order description. So let's just say live demo order, just to have something there. And there's a few ways we can add items to our order. First would be a blank order form. This is more for one-off items, maybe not frequently ordered items, that you would just fill out this form for whatever you may need. For this case, let's just say we're going to order a laptop. I would select the appropriate account code. I would select the vendor I want to order from. If the vendor I want to order from is not in this list, I always have the ability to select other and enter in a new vendor. For this case, let's just say we're going to order this from CDW. I can select if it's a one-time purchase, a recurring purchase. Recurring purchase would be, for example, a software subscription or a blanket order purchase. For this, we're going to say it's a one-time. Let's say I need 3 laptops and they are $600 each. I can also set unit types as well as different currencies as well. So if I'm ordering from different currencies. Down below, you're also able to have up to 10 additional fields, which can be used for tracking purposes or as well used for different approval workflows. So for example, if I want to associate the spend with a specific project, I'm able to do that. But as well, I'm able to say, if I'm working with a new vendor, having in a new vendor toggle switch, which would then trigger a different approval routing for maybe including accounting to make sure we approve this vendor before we go ahead and purchase from them.
So with that as well, then, Bannon, you could also put material groups in there if you wanted to do some fairly basic categorization of your spend beyond, just what the account code or the cost centers were.
Yep, absolutely. So you can use these
Yeah.
for any sort of categorization within. And you have up to 10 additional fields, so they can be used for any of those things. I can also include any comments as well as upload any attachments. So if I'm purchasing something and I want to include a spec sheet, if I want to include a maybe a contract, anything I need for maybe services as well, you are able to put through services through Procurify as well. I'm going to go ahead and add this item to my order. The next way we can add item is from a product catalog. So a product catalog would be maybe a list of pre-approved items that the organization has maybe set pricing for, maybe a specific vendor they work with to do this, and go ahead and have these here. With the product catalog, the benefit is everything's already pre-populated. So maybe let's say the organization is set on using MacBook Pros. If I click on it, I have everything already pre-populated. All I have to do is add the item to my order. I also want to point out in the catalog, we have something called bundles. Essentially, they're groups of items that are normally ordered together. So maybe let's say the example I frequently use is a new hire bundle. Every single time you hire a new employee, you give them a MacBook, a keyboard, and a mouse. I can go ahead and add these, and it will add all three of those into my order. The next way we can add an item is a supplier portal. So we have multiple different vendors we have punch outs from. What I'm going to show you example is through Amazon. I'd go into the supplier portal, select the address I want the item shipped to, and this would take me directly to the Amazon business account associated with the organization. I purchase as I normally would on Amazon. So let's say I want to buy a HDMI cable. I go ahead and add this to my cart. The only difference here is instead of checking out, it says submit these items for approval. When I click that, it takes me directly back to Procurify. I go ahead, select the appropriate account code, and add this to my request. With the punch out items, those items, as soon as they're approved, instead of actually having to go to create a purchase order, those items automatically get purchased on your Amazon business account, shipped to that address we've selected. So it speeds up that purchasing process as well. But you get that added layer of approval prior to someone going in and purchasing these items. Last is a CSV upload. So you do have a CSV template. You download the template, you add in your line items and upload them, which would then populate those line items. So from here, I have, as you can see, I have multiple different vendors. I have catalog items. I have punch out items. The requisition is meant to be as easy as possible for the end user so they can go ahead and request whatever they need. And we split them out at the procurement stage, but making it very easy to use for the end user to request whatever they may need. The approval routing is also triggered from the back end, so you can have that configured to whatever your approval needs may be, whether that's dollar value, whether that's based on account code, location, department selected, any of those things. And you can also have multiple layers of approval, so you can go in and it will automatically go based on the rules set up in the system and go through that approval routing. So I'm going to go ahead and submit this request. From here, I'm going to jump back to Monica, who was my approver, and go through that approval process. At this point, Monica would get notified via email if she has email notifications, get notified via Slack if she's a Slack user, or get notified via the mobile app. That mobile app is very useful, especially for maybe approvers who are always on the go, not sitting at their desk. They can go ahead and approve these orders anywhere.
Or just approvers that hate having 100 emails a day.
Yeah. So just to open up that order we just put through, I can see who requested it, what date they need this by. I can also see there is punch out items on this requisition. And on the right-hand side here, I get a bit more granular visibility of my budgets. So as I mentioned, you do have real-time budget visibility. I can also break it down, my budgets all the way to be tracked against even GL code levels. So I can see, hey, how does this order, how much I've currently spent, how much this current request is going to affect my budget, and if I have any other pending requests that might also affect this budget, I would be able to see that here. And if everything looks great, I'm going to go ahead and just tuck away the spend tracker. From here, I have the ability to approve or deny the whole order, or I can go in and review these specific line items and maybe deny a specific line item. So let's say we're already ordering MacBook Pro. They should be always let's say our company standard is always ordering the MacBook Pro, I'm going to go ahead and deny this line item. And I can use that chat functionality to let Joey know why I denied this item. And let's just say, I'm going to say, Joey, we only use MacBook Pros. Joey would get a notification. He would click on this message. It would bring him directly to this order. So he knows exactly why I denied this specific item as well. I can also go in here and edit specific line items. So let's say instead of 1, we need 3 MacBook Pros. I can go ahead, adjust the quantity. And any edits that are made also get shown in the audit log below. So really useful if there's multiple layers of approval. I can see who changed what within an order. So it keeps that accountability in place as well. From here, if everything looks great, I can go ahead and approve this order. If there was multiple layers of approval, it would let me know who the next approver is here. But for demo purposes, we just have just the final approval. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and hit approve, which would then take me to my next step, which is actually purchasing these items. In Procurify, you do have 2 ways to create purchase orders. One is an auto PO method. Essentially, as soon as I would hit approve in that auto PO method, let's say I had 2 different vendors on my requisition, 2 purchase orders would automatically be generated in the system for those 2 different vendors and reside in the purchase orders tab. The other option is the consolidation method, which is what I'm going to show you guys now. And this is to get a bit more strategic with your purchasing. So with the strategic method, all the items that have been approved will get listed on this procurement list. And from here, instead of sending out 1 purchase order per specific user, let's say I have 3 different team members who wanted to order stuff, for example, from Best Buy, all that would show up here and I can place 1 weekly order instead, which could then save me money on shipping, or it could give me, some vendors also provide bulk order discounts. So if I'm ordering a large quantity or large dollar value, they give me additional discounts as well. So to do that, I would just click on filters, select the vendor I want to order from today. All the line items from that vendor get populated. I would select all and click add to list and click create purchase order. My bill to, my ship to, and my payment information are already pre-populated. I can see all of my different line items. I can include any PO notes as well as include any terms and conditions. And from here, I can go ahead and create that purchase order or email that PO directly from the system. I'm not sure if anyone paid attention, but that took about 3 clicks to create that purchase order. So very easy to do even with the consolidation method. And what that purchase order looks like, it's a pretty standard purchase order form. Instead of the Friends logo, it would be the organization's logo. And I would see the line items and the terms and conditions listed below. That is the purchasing process. From here, we're going to go and jump into receiving. And this is where we're keeping track of the goods we have purchased. So if we go in and just open up that PO we just created, in Procurify, receiving is also another popular function on the mobile app because you can do it from absolutely anywhere, not just at your desk. And receiving on Procurify is very straightforward. So we work on a pass-fail system. I pass an item if it's arrived and it's in good condition. I fail an item if it arrives damaged or not up to our quality standards. If also I'm on my phone, I can go ahead and upload a picture of that packing slip by taking a picture of it right away, and it will reside in the system. So no need to keep track of those paper documents as well. And from here, I can go ahead and start receiving the items. I can also do partial receiving. So let's say I ordered 3 MacBook Pros, but only 2 showed up. I can go ahead and just receive the 2, which would then put this PO in a partially open state, letting me know I'm still pending other receiving, but also allows me to make sure I'm receiving what I've have so far. If let's say next week everything else arrived, I can just go ahead and click accept all and receive all the remaining items. That is essentially the receiving. Very straightforward. Last step in this whole process is the AP module. So in the AP module, this is where we tie everything together. So once that vendor sends us that invoice, we match it against the purchase order in the system, against this receiving data in the system, and tie everything together and make sure we approve it before we send off to actually pay the vendor. So in the accounts payable section, I'm going to go to the manage bills section. One thing I want to point out at the top is we have an OCR inbox email associated with the account. OCR is optical character recognition. Essentially, once an email is sent or an invoice is sent to this inbox, it scans the invoice, populates all the information in the header section, and has a draft bill ready for you to review. So I did send myself one right before this call, and now I know it came from this email. It lets me know it was created by the Procurify inbox. So I know it's ready for me to review. So if I open up this draft bill, on the left-hand side here, I can see a copy of that invoice. On the right-hand side here, I can see what the OCR pulled, which is the vendor, the purchase order number, the invoice number, invoice date, and due date. And down below, all I have to do is a visual check, do my line items on my purchase order, match my line items on my invoice. And if everything matches, I can go ahead and just put it through approval or submit it for approval. In Procurify, you are able to have multiple options for approval, even for invoices. You can have that all of your invoices or bills need to go through an approval. You can have that none of them need to go through approval, or you can have what's called a smart variance-based approval. Essentially, what that means is, let's say the purchase order amount total matches the invoice amount. No need to do any additional approval. But as soon as there's some discrepancies where sometimes vendors come back and say, hey, that cost has actually increased, I can go ahead and adjust that line item to reflect the new cost. So let's say they said now it's $150. As soon as I make any changes to that price, I get a little flag that appears that lets me know my invoice price and my purchase order price don't match. And what I can do is I can have a variance-based approval system. So let's say as soon as that invoice price goes over 5% or $5, even 1 cent approval amount, I can go ahead and have additional approvals here. And from here, if everything looks right, I'm going to go ahead and submit this. But just because I use this every single time, I'm going to actually go ahead and delete it. That is a quick overview of our platform. I think I did that pretty quickly. I'm going to quickly jump in and just show a few of the reports as well, because I'll make sure I use all the 3 remaining minutes. So there is also some reporting available in the system, and we are also launching a lot of new reporting functionality as well, such as a Spend Insights Hub. But for now, just going to show you guys some of the baked-in reporting. So a really popular one is orders by vendor. So from here, I can go in and see how much I've spent with my different vendors. So really useful for the procurement team. If they want to go back and negotiate pricing with their different vendors, negotiate better terms, you have that visibility to see how much you've spent with your different vendors and go back and try to negotiate that with your different vendors. I can also go in and click on any of these specific vendors and see what exactly I bought from these different vendors, when a majority of my spend happens. And if I'm buying, let's say, similar items from multiple different vendors, I can compare prices and say, hey, going forward, we should buy from this specific vendor since they give us the best price. Another really popular one is orders by department or orders by project. So if I'm doing project-based or department-based, I can click again, see what I've spent for my different projects as well, to see where I'm at with my spend with my different projects. So I'm going to wrap up here because I do see a lot of questions that have showed up. But that's a quick overview of the platform. Thank you very much.
Bannon, thank you. You're a star. That was you got through that pretty quickly. I'm impressed. So yeah, we did have a few questions come in. So I'll try and tailor these and make sure and if there are some sort of similar or connected ones, I'll flash these up at the same time. So the easiest one, Bart, from you, will the presentation also be shared or is this available on your website? You can always pop back onto the procurement software LinkedIn page and rewatch the live stream. We will also upload this to my YouTube channel, so it will be there for posterity after the LinkedIn feed sort of dies a slow death after a couple of weeks, so as you don't have to scroll through all of my previous content. So if you just want to rewatch it this week, it will be easy to find on the procurement software page. If it's at some point in the future, it will be on my YouTube channel. So just type in James Meads into YouTube and you should be able to find it on there. Give me a week to get it uploaded, but should be there then.
As well, if you do want a more in-depth demo, I did do a quick, very overview level of the demo or the platform. If you did want a more deeper dive into the platform, you can definitely reach out to Kristen to schedule something as well.
Yeah, the other one, I think this is an easy one to answer as well. So Bart's saying he's based in the Netherlands. Is the application available in any other languages? And Bart, I know the Dutch speak better English than most British people, so don't give me that. Yeah, my Dutch suppliers used to write better emails than most of the material planning department when I worked for Jaguar Land Rover years and years ago.
Yeah, so the platform itself is only available in English, but we do have the ability to, let's say you are working with international vendors and you want to change that purchase order form to reflect other vendors. We do have lots of clients who do use different languages for that. So definitely something we can speak on in more depth.
And I guess that just reflects the fact that predominantly you've had North American customers historically, but I guess as you expand globally, that's going to be more and more common. The next one came from Kinga around so I think what she's saying is there anything on your tech roadmap to sort of improve or expand on the platform? So without giving away any trade secrets that your CEO is going to bash you on the head for, can you maybe just give us some insights as to what you've maybe got planned as new features?
Yeah, so a few I can just list off the top of my head. The reporting, as I mentioned, we are launching a spend insights hub, which is going to give you a lot more visibility on how your spend is doing, how long it takes you to create a purchase order. We're also having a return on spend calculator built into the platform, so you can see how much money you're saving just by using Procurify. We are launching a vendor sort of approval, so having more of a vendor portal sort of functionality later down the line, but working towards that. We also, if you go to roadmap.procurify.com, you can see everything that the team is currently working on today. So just a quick visibility there as well.
Superb. Okay, the next one is from Anish. This is relating to the requisition module. So are there options to attach specifications to each line of the requisition?
Yep, absolutely. So everything in Procurify is done at line level. So if you're including attachments, you can definitely include it at every single line.
Fantastic. And then another one from Anish, which was around the tendering process. So I think, Anish, correct me if I'm wrong, if you're still online, but I think what you're asking here is, does Procurify have a sourcing module? And I believe, Kristen, from what we spoke about previously, that you currently don't, but you're in discussions potentially with some partners.
So we actually have two signed partners that we work with that are from the sourcing side, so creating RFPs. So we work very closely with them, but within our own platform, we don't have RFQ functionality. But again, by working closely with our partners, we're able to extend it from a source to pay platform, essentially.
Fantastic. Okay, and just Anish on that question as well. I also have RFQ e-auction software with whom I partner as well. So if you're looking for someone to sort of be the glue between a source to contract or an RFX platform and what Procurify is doing with a very much UX focused procure to pay and an e-procurement catalog management software, I can sort of help those two entities talk to one another because I work with both of them. So if you did need some help in terms of putting together a strategy that might include two different solutions, then just reach out and happy to have that conversation with you. Okay, so the next one was also from Bart again, is around EDI XML invoicing, and is that also possible?
As of right now, no, that is not possible, but definitely something we can look into. That might be something possible in the future.
And I think this is just as someone that's based over here in Europe, that seems to be sort of fairly legacy technology, but it was a very popular interface, or still is a popular interface with businesses that run SAP. So I think, but maybe you want to comment, but are you currently running SAP as an ERP system, and that's why you need that? Because I know I lived in Germany for 12 years, and I know SAP in sort of Central Europe is really, really popular. So I suspect that's maybe where that question is coming from. Okay, and then Bart was asking again a little bit around the fee model or around the pricing. So, I mean, I know this is a very unique question depending on the exact customer requirements, but could you perhaps, Kristin, just share a few thoughts around, whether it's a per license or an enterprise-based pricing system, and how typically you would construct a price offer to a customer?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. So we currently have two price packages. So our main packages starts at 24,000 US dollars annually. It includes up to 50 users, access to full functionality of the platform itself. You get up to three punch-out vendors. You get access to a single domain. There's things like, for example, single sign-on that's included. So there's a lot of functionality that's included. We also include implementation hours as well. Um, and then we have a separate package which is more catered towards the small to medium-sized businesses, which is 12,500 US dollars annually and includes up to 25 users.
And when you mentioned punch out catalogs, that's a great point. Actually, I was going to ask Bannon this during the demo. So the punch out vendors that you currently have set up, can customers add bespoke punch out vendors to their package, or can you only punch out currently to the ones that you've got set up in the system?
So it's currently limited to the ones that we have set up in the system. That being said, we're continuously evolving and expanding our punch out vendors. So if there's one that you're looking to work with, definitely flag it to myself. I can bring it to my boss, who's the one that oversees all our punch outs, and she's always happy to connect with new vendors and get those set up.
And even if you don't have a punch out catalog with a vendor that a customer wants to use, they can also they can always use the sort of closed shop catalog system, can't they? Where if they've got a couple of hundred, I'm thinking maybe things like office stationery, for example, or tools. If they've got a list of 200 or so items that they typically buy that are repeat purchases that they want to upload as an internal or a self-hosted catalog, you have that functionality too, right? It just doesn't punch out to the
Mhm.
vendor's web shop.
That's correct, exactly.
Got it. Okay. Bart actually did answer the question around SAP. So he's saying we don't use SAP, but a different software to read invoices, and then they're using Basware as their sort of as their financial system that interfaces with the payment with the bank accounts of the vendors. Basware
Yeah,
is
so
also pretty common here.
yeah. With that workflow, essentially what we usually recommend is ending that workflow in Procurify at PO and item receipt, and having those POs and item receipts sync into Basware, and Basware is where you complete that AP process.
And that would be, I assume that's a CSV file that then the user would upload into their payment system once or twice a week, or however often they do their payment runs.
Yep, via CSV or as well as API. We do have an open API, so
Okay.
any system that has API available, we can connect to.
Fantastic. So we're at 33 minutes, I see, and we've had some great questions in. So just to anyone that's watching this, I think that pretty much concludes where we're at. So if anyone does have any additional questions, please pop them in the comments now, so as I can ask Kristin and Bannon if you've got anything else. Otherwise, while I'm just waiting for those to come in, yeah, if you do want to learn more, then two ways: either drop me a DM and I can connect you with Bannon and Kristin, or if you want to reach out to them directly, maybe do you want to just pop on the screen or tell anyone the best way to get in touch with you directly, and just if anyone's watching this, just say that you watched this demo and that's how you got in touch with them.
Yeah, so the best way to connect with us, I mean, you can reach out through the Procurify website. There's a registration form you can access, or alternatively, through myself. My email address is Kristin at CHRISTIN .Salamou SELAMOU at procurify.com. So happy to connect you and explore any additional questions you might have.
Fantastic. So I always talk about user interface and user experience and an easy front end, and having something that users actually want to use rather than feel forced to use. And sometimes having too many features can be a curse rather than a blessing. And I think a solution like Procurify really does really does speak to that. Especially, we didn't really touch the app on this demo, but it does have, I've seen some demos in the past, it does have a fully app-based functionality. So if you do have a lot of field engineers or technicians that are out on the road, or even managers that travel a lot, and you're constantly getting frustrated because they're never at their laptop to be able to approve POs and invoices, this is a great alternative solution to some of the legacy tech out there that is less mobile optimized, shall we say. So with that said, I think we can close out. Thank you very much for watching, all of you. And yeah, we'll be back hopefully next month with another demo from another partner. So Kristen and Bannon, thanks for running the demo and the presentation. Appreciate it, and wishing you a great rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for having us. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.